Hey, it's 𝓐𝓑𝓞𝓤𝓻𝓲𝓫 and welcome back to a brand new single dad life video on my channel. Before I get into the video, I'm going to go ahead and give some background on Bob Pancakes and how he met Eliza and everything that happened before we got to where we are now. So Bob grew up on this farm with his parents. His whole life he was the only child, which is why he has to be the one to go ahead and take over the cottage now that they are too old to care for the crops and the animals. But when he was 18, he decided to go to culinary school at Brichester, and that is where he met Eliza, who was in school for business. She was going to business school, and that's where they met. Bob did actually drop out before he graduated. Eliza did go ahead and graduate, and they got married right after she graduated. So they basically kind of rushed into marriage, and they really rushed into having kids because a year after they were married is when she gave birth to Isaac. So it didn't really take long for them to get married or have any kids, and his parents always had reservations about her because they didn't really know her. They met while they were in college, and Bob didn't really come home too much once he discovered the city life. He pretty much decided to stay in the city all the time and never really came back to visit his parents that much. So they didn't really get to meet Eliza as much as they would have hoped for. Overall, his marriage to Eliza was pretty terrible. His parents were correct to have their reservations about them getting married so young because all they did was argue and fuss and fight and yell at each other. It wasn't really a healthy relationship at all. And one night, Eliza and Bob got into a really big argument where it lasted a really long time, and they were yelling and screaming, and eventually they just couldn't take it anymore. And so Eliza just decided to leave. She told him to stay home with Isaac. She didn't really want to see either of them anymore. She just wanted to leave, go away, and get some peace of mind because she's tired of arguing with her husband all the time. So she got in her car and she decided to go to her best friend's house. It was a really stormy night, and trees were falling down, power lines were falling down. She really should have just stayed in the house. And Bob told her that she should just stay in the house and they could just ignore each other, get over the argument. But no, she decided to leave. And when she left, she actually was driving and she made it all the way to her friend's house. And then as soon as she got to her friend's house. She didn't notice that there was a power line down and happened to park in a puddle, and basically as soon as she got out of the car, she was electrocuted for stepping in the water that was connected to the power line that had fallen down. And so that is how Eliza died. And this happened 6 months ago, and since then Bob has been through a lot since she was the one making most of the money. Bob had bills piled up. He couldn't pay for Isaac to go to daycare anymore. He couldn't afford any of his basic life necessities. The house was getting taken away from them, and so he really didn't know what he was going to do next. So it was kind of a good thing when his parents decided to call and say that they were going to let him live in the cottage. Bob is cooking some franks and beans really quickly because he's going to go ahead and invite his mom and dad over so that they can give him some tips and some tricks about what he should do about this cottage. It says that the white rooster is thinking of leaving soon due to inadequate care. However, white rooster will stay if the household can provide food, cleaning, and attention. Like we said, his parents were getting really old and they couldn't really care for the animals and the crops on the farm anymore. So it would make sense that the rooster, the cow, the plants, everything would be neglected, and basically Bob is gonna have to start from scratch with making this farm do well. But now he's gonna go ahead and call his parents and invite them over so that way they can give him some tips and tricks about the farm, because he hasn't actually been at the farm since he left for college. It's been a long time, and Isaac's just over here going ahead and playing some games on his iPad. As you can see, they both have a sad moodlet for losing Eliza. They still have that moodlet only because this would be around the time of his anniversary to her. So he is pretty sad today, and Isaac randomly gets sad about losing his mother, as any toddler would. So Bob's parents, Willie and Diane, have arrived here. As you can see, they don't have the best relationships because he did go off to college, like I said, and he kind of just forgot about his family. And so he does need to actually get to know them a little bit better and ask them about their lives and how they've been doing recently. So Bob went ahead and called everyone to a meal so they can go ahead and eat, and hopefully they'll all sit at the table so he can discuss everything that he wants to discuss with them today. As you can see, Isaac is pretty independent, and he's just gonna go ahead and get his food, and he's gonna talk to his parents about all of the things he's concerned about. So he's gonna, of course, ask them for advice about the farm, and he's gonna ask them for advice about life as well, because a lot has happened to him in the past couple of months, and he's always thinking about Eliza and what he could have done differently, and sometimes he even blames himself for all of the incidents that occurred that night, even though of course he couldn't have known what was going to happen to her. Everyone seems to have just a little bit of gas due to the frank and beans. So yeah, I'm gonna have him hug his mother, of course, because he's been going through a lot and he loves her. And someone should go check on the crying baby, because why is he crying? I think just because he's sad. I'm going to have him chat with his grandpa. As you can see, they don't really have any relationships because they never really met other than talking on the phone, maybe a couple times when he was a baby, but he doesn't really know his grandparents. And so he's gonna go get to know his grandpa while his dad gets all types of tips and information from his mother. I want them to all become really close, especially now that they've entrusted him with the farm. So he's just going to talk to his grandpa, hopefully get to know him a little bit better. So he realized that it's 8:30, and so it's absolutely time for his family to leave and for him to go ahead and put Isaac to bed. It's their first night, so I'm gonna go ahead and have Bob read Isaac a nice little bedtime story before he goes to sleep, and then we'll go ahead and see you guys in the morning. Bob woke up bright and early to go ahead and take care of the animals on the farm because he really does want to do his best at taking care of these animals and making sure that he makes his parents proud with taking care of the farm that they worked hard for his whole life. So of course he is going to wake up, and the first thing he's doing is bathing the cow because the cow was really dirty since the parents had kind of neglected the animals and the crops and everything on the farm. And so that's the first thing he is doing this morning, is making sure that this cow is nice and clean. Isaac is still asleep because he had such a long and late night. Didn't go to sleep until about 9 p.m. So it makes sense that he's sleeping in this morning. Bob is, for some reason, still very sad about Eliza, but that makes sense because it is around the end time of their anniversary. But I am going to see if he can go ahead and take care of the chicken. So I'm gonna have him clean the chicken coop, and I'll also have him collect any eggs if there are any eggs that are left, and then he needs to get to know these chickens. So I'm going to have him discuss. So I guess him and the chicken are going to talk about dinosaurs, and then I'll let him talk to this chicken too, and he can try and pet the rooster if that is something that will be allowed. Don't really know if the rooster is going to allow that or not, but we will see. He has collected 2 eggs, and one of those eggs are hatchable. I don't know where this chicken is or why you're talking to him through there, but oh my goodness, that is nasty. So we're gonna go ahead and make sure he sprays for bugs. Who is this lady? Excuse me, who are you? Sarah Scott. She owns a pub. Well, since you're walking through my house, I'm gonna say hi, Miss Sarah Scott. Like, what are you doing here? Who are you? Friendly introduction. Can we make some friends? So I'll see if he can go ahead and be friends or just talk with Sarah Scott. Oh, you're just making yourself at home. Maybe she like knows his parents or something, because she's definitely making herself at home right now. Yeah, so you can go ahead and sit there and talk to her. Sarah is basically discussing with him how she loves his parents, and she was so sad to see them go, but she's glad that he moved in to help take over the farm, because she was really concerned about what was going to happen to the farm. And she's really looking forward to getting to know Bob, because she did really like his parents. But I am going to go ahead and wrap this part up right now, because I don't want the first episode to be too long. But thank you guys for watching my video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.